Hello. Hi. Welcome to my channel. I'm Latasha McDowell, your real estate coach here in Tallahassee, Florida. So this evening we're going to talk about the main components of the home buying process. So grab your pen and paper. Let's get into it. The first thing that most people always automatically think when it comes down to the home buying process is that I need to save money. I need to save money. Saving money is important, but the most important thing in reality is checking your credit. Checking your credit score is the most important thing that you need to do first because that tells you what you need to take care of. It doesn't make any sense to have boatloads of money saved and your credit score is a -2. Right. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to check your credit score. And you can do that by going to MyFICO. That's MyFICO. That's myfico.com. And you can get a comprehensive score there. You'll get your Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian score. It'll be your true score, and they'll break it down even further to tell you what your score is for purchasing a home. It'll say mortgage. Then you'll also get a score for purchasing a vehicle as well as credit cards and loans. MyFICO. The next step, determining what your budget is. Most people go into this process not knowing what they can and cannot afford. Most people base it upon, okay, I could afford $1,200 rent, so I could afford $1,200 house note or contrat. You'll have additional bills that you don't have when you're paying rent. For example, you're going to have a home warranty, right? What if something breaks? Typically, if you're renting, you call a landlord. But if you're the homeowner, who are you calling? Ghostbusters? No. So you're going to have a home warranty, and that home warranty is going to have a deductible because that's the way they're set up, right? You'll have a deductible that you'll have to pay, which will probably be an unexpected expense. So when you are thinking about what your budget is, you need to consider an emergency fund to handle things like, what if, the refrigerator breaks? What if the microwave goes out? What if the hot water heater needs replacing? God forbid, what if you're on septic and you need to get your drain field replaced? That's a heavy chunk of change. So you have to be mindful of what you truly can afford and what you need to have in your nest egg for emergency situations. And I don't mean like not a separate emergency fund from your regular emergency fund, like what if you have some kind of health care or something and you're unable to work? You need to have a separate emergency fund for your home. I don't know if anyone's ever told you that, but I'm here to tell you. Okay? So now that you know what your budget actually is, you know what your credit score is, it's time to go off to a lender. When you go out to look for your home mortgage, you want to make sure you check my previous video so you know what questions to ask a lender, but you want to vet 3 different lenders. And you want to do this for the sole purpose of seeing exactly what other lenders have to offer. We price compare and shop for everything else. Why would we not price compare and shop for a mortgage? It's one of the biggest things that we're going to be having hang over our heads for 30 years in some case, right? 15 to 30 years. So you want to make sure that you have a mortgage that is conducive to your needs. You want to make sure that you're picking the right loan type. Do you need to have an FHA? Is a conventional better for you? Hey, I have VA benefits, so I want to use my VA loan and have a 0 down payment. Well, if I'm moving outside of the city limits, maybe I should consider a USDA loan. So there are those loan types that you do need to consider. It's not like a one-stop shop. So you want to be savvy, and if you're wanting to know the difference between these different loan types, you can go to a website. That's HUD.gov, HUD.gov. You'll be able to get that information there, or you can check on our previous videos. But the next step in the home buying process is now you're pre-approved. Boy, damn. It's time to go house shopping. Before you go house shopping, before you go and call your realtor, decide on what you really want, right? Do you really want a 3-bed, 2-bath? Do you need a 4, 3, 5, 3? Do you really need a home that's a single story? Or is a multi-level good for you? Do you want to buy a single family home? Do you want to buy a fourplex or a duplex or a triplex? Figure out what you want. Are you a person that outdoor laundry is non-negotiable? That you are not going to have your washer and dryer in the garage. It gets cold. Is your garage insulated? No. Who wants to put on the fur coat to go do laundry? So those are the kind of questions that you really need to consider and think about before you go out there in the market looking for a home. What exactly do you want? Do you really need a one-car garage? And here's the thing that I've noticed that people don't think about until I call it to their attention. They're like, okay, well, all I need is a one-car garage, Tosh. I don't need a two-car garage. And then they get this one-car garage, and the washer and dryer is in the garage. How are you going to park your car and do laundry? They don't fit. So really contemplate before you go out there looking for houses, what exactly do you need and what exactly will work best for you and your family. Because when we're seeing things and we're thinking about things, we're not thinking about the functionality of it. Okay? So are you a person that needs to have multiple linen closets? I know I do. But that's one of the things that you have to take into consideration. Or you have all these sheets and bedding and blankets and stuff because of where you live. Where are you going to put it? So that comes into storage. So you really need to think about these things when you're out shopping for a home and have your list ready, right? So now the next step, you've got your list, you pre-approved, now it's time to find a realtor. Interview your realtor, and I mean interview your realtor. Make sure they're a good fit. I don't care if it's your homegirl and she's been a realtor, or it's your homeboy that you went to high school with and they're a realtor. It doesn't make them a good fit for you. You guys may jive on a personal level, but when it comes down to business, this is hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't care if we shop marbles together. You need to be savvy about your realtor and who you're picking, and if you're really dealing with someone who, one, knows what they're talking about, and two, looking out for your best interest and not just trying to throw you in something as quickly as possible so they can get a check at the closing table. You need to make sure that you clearly communicate with your lender. I'm sorry, not your lender, with your realtor, what your expectations are from them. And you need to set the expectations for them, what to expect from you. Okay? You want to clearly let them know, this is what I want. This is what I'm looking for. So if I need a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, don't bring me to a 2-2 talking about some of my kids can share bunk beds in this room. You want to clearly communicate what your needs are. And if you find that you're dealing with a realtor who's not actually listening to what you're saying, well, it's time to fire somebody, isn't it? So when it comes down to this type of transaction, you want to make sure that the person that you're dealing with, I don't care if it's your mama and she's a realtor. If you are feeling like that they're bringing you places or showing you homes that's not a fit for you, then go ahead and fire them. And if you think you're going to have an issue with firing a friend, an affiliate, or a family member, then don't get into that relationship. Just let them know that you're picking to choose someone else so you can have an objective opinion. Even though they may feel like that they can be the best realtor for you, even if when my kids, actually my daughter bought a house, I wasn't her realtor. It's not that she thought anything less of me, but she needed someone who was going to have an objective opinion and who wasn't going to have a mother hen moment. I wasn't offended. It's business. So you want to have that same kind of context when you're looking for a realtor. So next step, you found a home. It's time to put in an offer. Put in a strong offer, but keep in mind your budget. Okay? Consider these things. In this market, the more you ask for, the more shady your offer kind of looks. Okay? So let's not be greedy and ask for 1,000 things unnecessarily because we want to feel like we're getting a good deal. What you're going to feel like you're getting is not the house that you want. Okay? So let me break this down for you because a lot of people, I think, get this confused when they're putting in an offer. Let's say you're putting an offer on a home and the home is 200, 300. We'll go with 300K. Okay. And your closing costs are going to be like about, I don't know, $12,000 between your down payment and closing costs. I don't have a calculator, so don't hold me to these numbers. This is just a fictional story. Okay. So you're asking for closing cost assistance. You're asking them for $9,000 in closing cost assistance. Do you know how the seller sees that? The seller is looking at that price, 300K. They're subtracting the realtor fees in their head, right? Then they're subtracting what you've requested in closing costs, or what you've requested for them to pay in survey, or what you've requested for them for repairs, right? They're subtracting that from their ticket price. And that difference is what they're going to net. Now, even with that, most homeowners still owe on their home. So the amount that they owe on their home, it still has to be paid, and it has to be paid at closing. Otherwise, they won't be able to sell a house unless you're going to assume their old mortgage and your new mortgage, which we know that ain't happening. So when you're putting in these offers, there's two people who need to be satisfied here. You, the buyer, and the seller. So you have to have a realistic point of view when you're putting in offers, okay? So if no other realtor has ever explained that to you, or if no other realtor has ever told you how that works when the offers are being presented, now you know. So when you're asking for closing costs, surveys, home warranties, repairs, everything under the sun, the seller is subtracting that from the ticket price. And you also got to remember, you as the buyer, you're not paying the agent, right? So that means the seller is going to be paying agents 6 to 10% of the cost of the home. So that's something else that's coming out of their net proceeds. So you need to contemplate this when you're putting in an offer to make sure that your offer is attractive to the seller. Okay? Now, you submitted your offer and you were selected. So now we're going into the next phase of this. And we call this phase the due diligence phase. This is the time where your inspections are ordered. The surveys are done. The title company are starting to research to make sure there's a clear title on the home, right? That there's no encumbrances, that no one else has laid claim to this property. Also, this is the time that your loan goes to underwriting. So you've gone from, oh, I hope to God I get it pre-approved. Now you pre-approved. Oh, I hope to God I find a house. You find a house. Put the offer in. It gets accepted. Now you're at inspections because you're doing your due diligence. And you're like, I hope nothing tragic comes back with this house. I hope they don't have, wood rot or significant wood rot, termite damage. You're hoping that the roof. You're hoping that the plumbing is good. You're just needing that inspection to come back like as clean as possible. No electrical issues or anything like that. Boom. Inspection clean. Now, your loan is at underwriting. You're sending documents. Well, I'm going to say your loan's at underwriting depending upon your lender. My lenders that I use, they actually send you the underwriting before you get pre-approved. So you really you really a walk-in check with them. But we'll talk about that later in another video as to whom the lenders I prefer to use. So now you're hoping, I hope my loan gets approved. Damn it! They said they need more work history. They need to verify my more work history. They're saying that I don't have enough documentation. So now that's another stressor. It happens. And it also happens that things pop up on people's credit in between the time that they were pre-approved and the time they go to closing. So now you have your escrow money on the line, your good faith deposit, the money you put down, and you have your inspections that you've already paid for, surveys you already paid for, and now it's time to pay for an appraisal. And you don't even know if your loan approved yet. With Jesus on the main line. Welcome to home buying. So, boom. Now you got the appraisal. Did that house appraise at what you offered? And if it didn't, what do you do? Okay, you put in $4,000 over ask, but the house come back $3,000 under the sales price. So that's a $7,000 difference. What happens? Option one, you're gonna have to pay the $7,000 difference plus your down payment plus your closing costs, because the lender is only going to lend you the value of the home. Boom. Option two, your realtor can get with the seller's realtor and say, hey, can we split the difference? Or is the seller willing to bring the price down to the amount the home was appraised for? But remember, these are questions, and the answer could be yes, and the answer could be no. Which goes back to how you offered in the first place. Now, here's a little tidbit. Your agent could have put in the contract when they put in the offer that there's two things. They could have put a clause that said, okay, if the house does not appraise at XYZ, that the seller will bring the price of the house down. The agent could have done that. Or let's say that you're putting in a multiple offer situation. The agent can also put in what's called an escalation clause that says that I will pay up to this additional amount over ask to ensure I get this home. But back to what we were talking about. So now we are at closing. We got to clear the close. Everything went great. We bring our closing costs to the table. Now it's time to celebrate because you're a homeowner. And those are the steps of purchasing a home. Any questions, comments, queries? Anybody? So, let's talk about some factors. Could you purchase a home with zero down payment? Of course. USDA, VA, of course, and NACA. Could you purchase a home with zero down payment? And can you purchase a home where the lender will pay the closing costs? Happens every day. That's why we vet our lenders, right? There's something that's called lender credits, where the lender can give you credit. And did you know? Kind of like the song that I'm thinking, Mary, did you know? That even a realtor, I was not going to sing husband, that even a realtor can contribute towards the closing costs? Now, I'm going to tell y'all, don't ask me because I need every bit of change. I got a 13-year-old boy who's very greedy and growing every day. But it's possible. I've talked to you guys about grants, the National Home Buyers Fund. That helps with closing costs or a down payment. Or if you want to refinance, it helps you with refinancing too. There is a plethora of programs out there that can help you get into a home. So just imagine you are VA, which means you have zero down payment, no taxes, no PMI, which is private market insurance. So all you have is closing costs. What if? Some of your closing costs are covered by the lender credits. What if you get assistance to cover the other half of the closing costs? So you just purchased a home with nobody out of pocket, like not a dime. Well, your inspections, but that'd be like $300. My mom has a mortgage that's not showing all her credit due to the bankruptcy. Can she go through NACA? If an event, okay, so your mom has was it in collections? Was it part of the bankruptcy? Well, if it was part of bankruptcy, so it's therefore it's not showing, then she has to wait 24 months and then she could apply for NACA. So yes, 24 months after discharge. So yes, she can. So that means that your mom can have a home with zero down payment, zero closing costs, and a very low interest rate. And if you want to be a good child, you can always, do something like, I don't know, pay the closing costs. Yeah, well, your mom's good to go then. 10 years ago, she's good to go. Yeah, she's straight. Mm-hmm. So, tell mama, let's go get a house. NACA.com, nationwide program that she can become a homeowner. Could I explain NACA? Sure. NACA is a zero down payment, zero closing cost program. Okay. The lender with NACA is Bank of America. Well, yeah, I mean, if she's still paying on it, then yeah. But as long as her name, okay, we'll get back to you in a second. Explain NACA. Okay, so actually, I could answer your question and explain at the same time. So NACA is zero down payment, zero closing cost program that's not based upon your credit. So, for example, with your mom, okay? So, if her bankruptcy has been discharged, so long as her name, one of the disqualifying factors for NACA, which are very few, is if in the event that you have any vested interest in any other property. So, if your mom's name is on any deed for any properties, then she won't be eligible. Okay? The NACA program is not based upon your credit score, but it's based upon your character, which means they're going to look at how you've paid your bills over the last 24 months. So what they're looking for is, or what they're not looking for, is they're not looking for any charge-offs within the last 2 years. They're not looking for any late payments within the last 2 years, because they're saying your character, meaning how you paid your bills. So you can have a credit score of 403, like literally, and still qualify for the program as long as you're paying your bills on time. Now, if you're thinking, damn, about 6 months ago, I was late on my car note, or I was late paying my credit card, or, you were late with anything that showed up on your credit, right? Here's where you employ the things that I've talked to about disputing items, okay? Because now you can have an opportunity to go ahead, send that letter to the creditor and say, hey, ABCDXYZ happened. This is why I've been late. As you can see, I had not been late with any payments since then. Is it possible you can remove that late payment, right? Because if you do have a late, or you do have a charge off within the last 24 months, NACA is going to say you cannot qualify for a mortgage until a year since that time frame. So that's why it's time, and it's good to start employing the information I gave you about disputing negative items, because it can be used towards your good, especially in a situation with NACA. Okay? So if in the event that you do have a negative item that is appearing in your credit bureau report, especially if we're talking about a charge-off, right? Let's say you have a charge-off. Well, I've taught you guys how to dispute those, right? By going to third-party credit bureaus and freezing that information, and then disputing the information with your credit bureau, with the credit bureau agencies and things of that nature. So I've already taught you this. So this is something that you can use as getting yourself prepared to be able to be approved by NACA, which basically is approved by Bank of America. So that's the NACA program. What I would strongly suggest, and no, I'm not going to suggest it. This is what I'm telling you to do. Okay? I know no one likes to be told what to do. So let me see if I can phrase it better for you. Most people, how about that? Most people figure, especially around this time of the year, that they're going to get in a home. They say, okay, I want to purchase a home by June, which is 6 months, right? That's what most people figure, right? So most people won't automatically think that, hey, let me go ahead and sign up for NACA. Even though I may not be ready now, these 6 months is going to give me time to, one, show them that I can save the money that I need to save. Because if they're going to say that, okay, Tosh, you want this house is $1,500 a month is the month you want to be approved for to be able to afford each month. But your rent that you're paying right now is $1,200. You need to be able to show us that you can save the difference in between the amount you're paying now and what you want your payments to be. And we need that over a few months period. Well, if I'm planning on moving in 6 months or purchasing a home in 6 months, they're giving me 6 months to show NACA that I can save this money, right? Each month. Because why am I going to wait 6 months and then pay a down payment and closing costs and all these other kind of fees and points and stuff when, since I'm already waiting, I can be in the program, use it to my benefit, and then when these 6 months come down the line, I don't have this closing cost, I don't have this down payment, and I still have a low interest rate, and I've probably saved up enough money to be able to buy down the interest rate even lower, right? Because you can buy down a NACA rate all the way down to 1.45%. I'm sorry, 1.42%. Right? So if you're projecting this time frame, be in the program. Make it work for your good. Okay? That's my thoughts, my suggestion. Hello, honey bun. How are you? How are you, Melanie? So that's just, what pops up the top of my head. That if you've already prescribed yourself to this time frame, make it work for your good, right? Make it work out for you. That's what I would do. So tell me your thoughts on that. If you decided that you say, okay, even if you say, Tasha, my credit score is a 540. At the very basic, I'm going to need a 580, right? To even qualify for FHA, to even qualify for down payment assistance, I'm going to need, at the very basics, a 580. Okay? So you're going to need time to get to the 580, right? That's not even with the NACA program. That's just period, okay? Because another thing that happens is people who join the NACA program, they get their credit score by them following the rules and disputing stuff on their credit. To be honest with you, they get their score up so high while they're in the process, not even trying to work on their score, but working on getting their character together. As a result, right, as this crazy result that's completely unexpected, you improve your credit score. So now, you done messed around, got your score so high that you qualify for a conventional loan, and you're being offered programs like zero down payment, zero closing costs. It happened to my client in September. We started off as NACA in April. NACA had told them they'd be in their house for Christmas. September rolled around. The husband, he called me. He was like, Tasha, I feel like the spirit is telling me to go ahead and move and apply for a mortgage. You know what I said? I don't trump the spirit. Go with what you're feeling. They were approved for a conventional loan. They got all kinds of lender credits because they were so worried about their student loan debt that they didn't realize when they were working on other stuff, they're reducing their debt everywhere else, that their student loans didn't make a big difference. So go ahead and sign up. What's better, NACA or conventional? Ironically, NACA is a conventional loan through Bank of America. The only difference is, see, NACA is a program, so it's a product, right? So when you see things like Rocket Mortgage and they're like, we can get you zero closing costs and this, that, and the other, there's only 4 basic loan types: FHA, USDA, VA, and conventional. Everything else that's offered is a program on top of those basic loan types. So NACA is a program, but it's actually a conventional loan. So the thing that, I don't know if you guys saw my last TikTok where I was doing a Cardi B thing, FHA versus conventional. The difference is most sellers like conventional over FHA is because with conventional, you can skip a home warranty. A home inspection. But here's the thing. If you decide that you're going to purchase a home and you're not going to have an inspection, your home warranty is pretty much invalid because you need to be able to prove that these things that you said are not working were working before. And if you don't have an inspection, how can you prove that? So that's another little tidbit for you. Okay. So guys, how do you guys like YouTube versus TikTok? I'm curious. Well, one, there's a whole lot less people, so more people get their questions actually answered. I'm sure of that. But how do you guys like it in comparison? I think I'm ready to buy your score 608. I would say wait till your score gets to like 620. You like TikTok better? Okay. Yeah, TikTok better? I'll be back on TikTok. Trying something new. You're overwhelmed with buying a house. What's going on? Why do you feel overwhelmed, babes? I caught the other day with hubby. Oh, you caught the other day with my husband. He's over there. He's just too busy playing, what are you playing? Candy Crush? Yeah. He over there. You over being turned down many times. Well, to be quite honest with you, Kimberly, I understand. I really, really do. Because who likes to be told no, right? Especially when you put all this effort out there. Who wants to be told no? Nobody, right? But here's the thing. All it takes is for one time to be told yes. He's funny. He's an ass clown. That's what he is. I'm sorry. Curse word. He's a fool. But all it takes is to get it right once, right? When you think about a scientist, how many times does a scientist... Now, I'm not saying go act like a scientist and have your credit pulled 100,000 times. Let me put that out there. I'm not saying that. But how many times does a scientist need to actually, try to get their experiment right? Do they need to get it right every time, or do they need to get it right just one time? You asked for it. You asked for it. He was over there minding his business. Now you get what you get because you asked for it. But all you gotta do is get it right one time, right? And it's better to have tried and failed, never have tried again. But I tell you what, before never to never try again. Yeah, it's better to try and fail, never try to never try at all. Sorry. You know, I felt like Bush just not with that. You know what I meant. Try. Because you might get it. Remember what Bush said, fool me once, shame on.
Me.
Yeah,
he twice.
Yeah. And
So
he
you
jacked up.
just can't get fooled again.
Right. Yeah, I just jacked it up just like him. But anyway, I like the Bush. But anyway, moving on. Before you try again and you're unsure of if you're going to be approved or not, call me. Let's talk about it, right? Like, I'm literally here for you. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what you actually have on your report. Let's talk about what you have saved. Let's talk about your work history. Let's talk about it, right? Before you jump out there. And I'll tell you the God's honest truth. If I think that you're ready, I'll give you my lender's information. Oh, you're in Orlando? Well, Kimberly, if you're in Orlando, I know I better be your real estate agent. You don't know what part of the process you're in with NACA? Okay, well, try to reach out to your counselor if you don't get your counselor on the main page. This is how much I've been to their site. On the main page, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, it's the customer service phone number and the customer service email, the main customer service number and email, not just the one that's in Florida. And give them a holler. Now, what office is your NACA office out of? Is it in your area or are you in the one in Jacksonville? Which office? Because the people in the Jacksonville office, they be handling business, like, quite honestly. Do you know which office your counselor is out of? Because that Jacksonville office, they be handling their business, right? That lady, the lady over there who my last client had, that counsel lady, I have to get a name for you. Baby, she was on it. Here, sent out an email. She was instantly replying. She was on it, baby. She was on it. Their hand department was on it. I can do nothing but give them a straight round of applause in their Jacksonville office. They were on it. So try contacting the customer service number. And then, okay, I'm back. I don't know what I touched.
Don't touch it.
I know. I'm not going to touch it again, whatever I touch. But make sure that you contact the main customer service number. And they have an email. It's like NACA service or something like that email. Husband, where's your son?
Huh?
Where's your son? Is he in bed?
I doubt it. What does he need? Where does he go?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Same time, same place. So I'm going to try this out for the rest of the week. And we'll see. If it don't work out, wait, hold on. My first MC set me up for 114K house, but this MC dropped it all the way down to 75. 75? Knowing NACA will not approve issue to live. Why? Girl, call me tomorrow, Melanie. Did your income change? Why? And you can't find, why? Call me tomorrow. I need to know why. Like, does your income change? Because that's the only reason I can see why it will change. Are they saying that's how much you can afford? You moved the whole bed, husband. Is
Oh,
it? Are they saying that's how much you could afford each month as far as the house note? Because usually it's based upon the house note amount, right? So yeah, why? Call me tomorrow. 850-212-6097. 850-212-6097. Now when you call, do like most people and say,
say hello.
"Hey Tosh, this is Melanie from YouTube. We talked last night."
And she's gonna say, I don't remember.
No, I'm not gonna say that. I never said that. I generally do remember people who I talk to. Actually, it's really strange and really weird that way. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you're in Arkansas. Yeah, girl, call me tomorrow. We'll figure this out. That's all I can think of. All right, is you write down my number? Because I don't know how to type stuff in on here. But it's 850-212-6097. Okay? All right, y'all. Peace, love, and hair grease. Have a good night.